Want a soar? Get a mentor. Hey, it's Nina Carmichael, and we make these videos because you're the probably most ambitious person in your circle, and you get a push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, my husband Evan Carmichael, on you want to start a business without money. Do this to succeed. Enjoy. Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1. Start small.
I hate spending money till I'm making money. If you do not have money, it's because you are spending your money on things that are not making you money. This is what happens in so many entrepreneurs' businesses when you're starting. You go and you spend a whole bunch of money on different gear, equipment, samples, products, and then it doesn't work out. Instead of going out and spending money at the start, find a way to get started on the cheap, invest in your energy, your hustle, your drive, your initiative, but not your money. Here's what happens. Someone wants to start a t-shirt business. Okay, great. To get the price discounts that you want so that on a per t-shirt basis it's cheaper, you have to order 5,000 t-shirts. So you go out and you spend all your money ordering 5,000 t-shirts, or worse, you go take a loan so you can get your 5,000 t-shirts. The t-shirts come in, you sell 3 of them, and then you have 4,997 t-shirts sitting in your mom's basement. That's most people. You'll spend money because you've got this ambitious dream and vision and you see in your head how it's all gonna work out, but then when you get started, it never works out like you think it's gonna work out. When I first started on YouTube, I had a team of 8 or so people already in my other business, in my main business. And so I'm gonna try this thing on the side, just as a fun thing and see how it goes. I did everything myself. I did everything myself. Invest my energy, my heart, my hustle, my drive, my intuition into making something happen. And once I started making some money, then I could invest into building a team, into getting gear, into building this business up. So now we've got 24 people on the team. When I first started doing my Instagram live morning shows, it was me and my tripod and a cell phone and a guest, and we went live on Instagram every day. And then people said, hey, you should get a microphone. Okay, great. I got a quick little microphone that connected, and we went. Now, this thing might be the future. That may be all I do. I might even close down YouTube and just do Instagram Lives. And if that happens, then I'll invest in a team in making that happen. Maybe in 3 years, if I'm still doing it, there'll be 20 people in the room, from a producer and camera people and editors, and everybody's in the room guiding the show, right? That might be the future. But I don't know. I gotta start by just doing one show. You do not have money because you're spending your money on the things that are not working and generating money back for you. So stop spending money. Stop it. Stop it right now. Stop spending money on things that don't make you money. Instead, invest your energy, your hustle, your time, your drive as a default until you're making a little bit of money from that thing. A little bit of money from that thing. And then you can invest that money to make more money.
Rule number 2, endure hardship.
Being an entrepreneur is one of the hardest things you'll ever do in your life. Whether you go all in financially or not, you're gonna go all in emotionally. And a lot of people, they can't cut it. They can't get the calluses fast enough, and so they quit. That's gonna be one of the biggest tests for you as you get off and build your business. Do you have the mental fortitude to keep going, keep driving, keep building your business in the face of all obstacles? It's the ultimate endurance test. It's the ultimate test to see what you're made of. When I first started my company, I knew it was gonna be hard, but I didn't think it would be this hard. You never think it's gonna be as hard as it actually is. I was making $300 a month. I turned down $100,000 a year, 6 figures, working for my dream job company to make $300 a month and own 30% of a company. I eat beans for lunch every day. The same bean salad for lunch, mixed beans with olive oil and herbs and garlic and salt and a little pepper, because it was cheap and it would fill me up. And when I wanted to splurge, I would go to the store and get the chunky Campbell's soup clam chowder. It was a little bit more expensive, but would also fill me up. When we went to celebrate a win, we would go to McDonald's and get a McDonald's French fries, large fries, and share it between the 3 of us because that's what we could afford. Couldn't afford the whole meal. And even to this day, the smell of McDonald's French fries means victory for me. It's the most unhealthy thing in the world, but it still means victory for me. I made it even harder on myself in that I isolated myself and I didn't tell my friends that I was struggling. I had to pick one thing a month that I could go to, one friendly, social pizza and beer kind of thing per month, because that 20 bucks I didn't have, because I'm only making 300 a month. So I isolated myself. I turned inwards. I was too embarrassed and ashamed to tell my friends who were off making $80,000, $100,000 a year, starting salary at a university, and I'm making 300 bucks a month. I was too embarrassed and ashamed. And so I told them, I'm hustling, I'm living the entrepreneur life, I'm grinding, but really I was struggling. I had no idea what I was doing. This thing was tearing me apart. And it got to the point where I actually quit on my business partner. I told him I quit. It's easy to quit on something and not get results when you know that you're not putting in the effort. But I was putting in the effort every single day, showing up to my business partner's dining room table because everything else was too small in his place to fit us. Putting in the effort every single day, trying to build and grow this business, and it wasn't working. I felt worthless as a human. Like, why are we not getting results? When will we start to get results? And I was fed up and tired, and I told him I quit. Like, I need to find a way to be useful, to feel valuable as a human. And so I told him I quit. And then I woke up the next day and said I can't quit because I haven't given it everything that I've got. And so there's a two-step process that saved me, that I hope will save you if you're feeling down and out and it's tough and you're not getting results. The first step is use regret to fuel you. I imagine my life at 100, looking back on this moment, saying, would I regret quitting? It's very rarely the things that you do that you regret, it's the things that you don't do. So would I regret not continuing? Would I regret not giving it my all? And I try to adopt the mantra that I would rather know and fail than not know. I would rather know and fail than not know. So I had to see this through. Even if the answer was total failure, even if it never worked out, I had to see it all the way through just to know, because otherwise that regret would eat me up. And so number one, use regret. When you're struggling, when it's not working out, when you're not getting results, imagine yourself being 100 years old looking back and saying, if you quit now, if you stop, if you don't keep going, will you regret it? Number two is model success. The next thing that saved me was I asked myself that next morning after I quit and then decided I need to go back because I can't live with regret. I asked myself, who has done this before? Who has built a software company up? I can't be the only person who's tried to do this. And I looked at Bill Gates, who started Microsoft, and not how he makes an extra $1 million now, but 0 to 1. How did he do that? How did that happen? I studied his success. I modeled his success. I applied it to my company and pretty shortly got my first deal for $13,500. That may not seem like a lot of money, but to me back then, it was hitting the lottery. I'm making 300 bucks a month. Now I just made a deal for $13,500. That was hope. That was real. That was putting money in my bank account. That was being able to have a full meal at McDonald's. And more important, it gave me a model that I could do again and again and again. I closed another deal and another deal and another deal. And our business started to take off. And ever since, that was 20 years ago, I used the same two-step process.
Rule number 3, take your shot.
When I was 20 years old, I missed my shot because I was scared and I vowed never to do it again. I was in Paris, I was on vacation, I was in university, and I'm sitting here with my map outside the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris, and a girl comes up and asks me for directions. But she was a French girl. And it didn't twig until later that why would a French girl be asking me for directions in English? Didn't really make sense, right? And then I thought, you know what? I should ask her out. I should see what she's doing tonight. I should take her to, ask her out for coffee or dinner or something, see what she's up to. But I was afraid. I was afraid to do it. I was afraid to do it, and I let her walk away because really I was afraid of rejection. And as she's walking away, the Notre Dame is on a river, and I'm on one side of the river, and she crosses over to the other side of the river. And I was so upset at myself. I was so upset that I didn't take my shot. I was so upset that I didn't try. At least try. And what I did was I ended up taking a picture. And as I took the picture, she actually walked behind one of the market stalls, and I didn't actually get her picture. It's fine. So I had this beautiful picture of this French, riverside. And what I did when I got home, I was still upset about it. So I blew the picture up and I put it on my wall. And I was actually trying to find the picture to show you guys, but I couldn't find it anywhere in my files. I blew it up though and I put it on my wall. So I'm at university, I blow it up and put it on my wall. Everybody who walks in asks me about the picture. And it just looks like a nice, beautiful French scene. But I didn't tell anybody what it really represented to me, why it was really so important. And I looked at that picture every day because the next time that I had to take my shot, I wanted to go out and do it. I didn't want to be afraid. I wanted to conquer my fear and say yes. And this served me really well a year or so later when I had to make the really tough decision, do I take this job that I always wanted? I had these high-paying job opportunities, $80,000 to $100,000 starting salary with the companies that I really wanted to go at, or continue with my startup that was failing, that was making $300 a month. The logical, practical, safe, easy thing to do would have been to take the job. It's what I thought I always wanted. It's what my friends wanted. It's what you're supposed to do coming out of university. I didn't want to live with the regret of not knowing what happened with my business. And looking at that picture daily reminded me to take my shot the next time it comes around. And so I gave myself a year to say, I'm gonna push off those jobs. They'll still be there in a year. Even if it's not those jobs, it's some other job. I'm gonna give this a shot. I can deal with the failure. I can deal with the rejection. I can deal with it not working out. Even though that's a really kind of short-term, intense pain, what I can't deal with is the regret of not knowing. Because that's not some short-term minimal pain, that's forever. If I chose not to focus on my business and I took that job, I would forever look back on that moment and think, what if? What if I just tried a little bit harder? What if I gave it a little bit more? Yeah, but it wasn't working, I wasn't getting results, but what if I gave it a little bit more? I did not want to live with that regret. And I'm sure you've had moments in your life too when you didn't take the shot. When you had an opportunity right in front of you and you didn't go for it. Like Eminem says, if you had one shot, one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted, would you take it? And that picture on the wall helped me take my shot. And I hope sincerely that the next time you get your chance at something, that you don't shrink down, that you don't say no out of fear, that you don't say no because you find some practical reason why you can't do it, that you take your shot. And if you've had those moments that you regret, where you wanted to take your shot and you didn't, give yourself a visual reminder like I did in my room to say, this is not happening again. Next time, I'm gonna take my shot. I hope you take yours. Also, if you want to have more self-confidence and self-belief, I've designed a special free training to help you do it. The science says it can take up to 254 days of consecutive action to build a new habit. And I want that for you. I want you to build the habit of self-belief. So what I'm going to do is email you every day for 254 days a link to an unlisted video that will shift your belief forward. To get on it for free, the link to join is in the description below. Find whatever the smallest first step is, and then the smallest next step is, and continue to build those steps. And when you look back, you'll have realized that you made some pretty significant progress. You can use rejection as fuel to help you go off and do something bigger and motivation to, I'm gonna prove them wrong. It's gotta be your life's work. If you only had to write one book ever in your life, this is it, and it's gotta be amazing.
Rule number 4, focus.
Your chances of success go up in direct proportion to your ability to, 1, pick the right things to work on, and then 2, focus on executing those things. It's so easy as an entrepreneur to get distracted. We love shiny objects, right? We love dreaming up new ideas and chasing these different projects. But if you look at a typical entrepreneur, you'll see that so many of their projects start and stop and start and stop, and you take something 10% through or 50% through or sometimes even like 80% through, but unless you're willing to take it to 100, you're not gonna get the results. You're not gonna get the fruit of your labor because you're just planting a whole bunch of seeds constantly, but you're never taking care of that seed. You're never watering it, right? If you wanna grow a plant, you gotta plant the seed, you gotta care for the soil, you gotta add nutrients, you gotta water it daily, it's gotta have enough sunshine. You gotta look after that seed, where most entrepreneurs, they don't. They're starting and stopping, starting and stopping, starting and stopping, and you never actually get to where you want to go. People talk about diversification. You need to diversify, you need to diversify. And while that's really great as an investment strategy, if you don't know what you're investing into, it's good to have a big portfolio of different things so that if one thing doesn't do well, something else is doing well. But it really sucks as business advice. Because if you're trying to do 10 different things at once, they're all going to be mediocre. They're all going to be below average because you're going up against people who are doing that full time and have their focus on it. And so it's much better as an entrepreneur to, one, pick the things that you want to focus on, right? And then two, actually focus on it. Do that work. Andrew Carnegie was once the richest person in the world, and he had a great quote saying how he likes to put all of his eggs in one basket, and then you watch that basket carefully, right? It's only a major risk if you're not watching the basket. If you take your eye off the ball, you start looking elsewhere, and then something happens to your industry, right? And so being the expert, being the best at what you do will always yield more results, more value, more money to you than being okay at 20 different things. Be the best at one thing. Focus. And I know that's tough because there's so many different opportunities, there's so many different ideas that we come across. As an example, when I got the chance to work with Lily, and I took her under my wing, and now she's working for me as we start to build up her business as being a public speaker, Lily takes up my Wednesdays. And Wednesday was supposed to be write my third book day. And the third book is something I'm really passionate about, really excited about. It's going to be about how to change your environment, how to create an environment for success, from your morning routines, to your habits, to your rituals, to your friends, to the physical environment. I'm really passionate about writing that book, and I need to do a lot of research to be able to complete it. But I can't do Lily and the book at the same time. I had that one day open per week because the other days are full, at least for now. And I had to decide, book or Lily? And I picked Lily. And so the book is on the back burner. I haven't touched that in months. And I could try to do both, but they would both be mediocre. And I want to see Lily have massive success. And maybe when I could build her up to the point where she's more free to do her own thing and doesn't need as much of my time, I can go back and do the book. I had a guy write to me talking about my Facebook strategy and said, hey, if you do Facebook better, if you change the pictures to look like this, and if you do more live streams, and give me all sorts of suggestions. And they're great suggestions. This is the challenge. Like, these are great ideas, but I can't focus on doing that and doing what I'm currently doing at the same time. And so you have to prioritize. Focusing means saying no. You're gonna have tons of opportunities come to you, tons of ideas that flow through your head that could all be fantastic ideas, but you cannot do all of them right now. So you need to prioritize, pick the right things to work on, and then put your blinders on, focus, and just go out and execute. You need to be in execution mode. You gotta get that thing done. And it's great to dream, and it's great to have the big vision and the big picture and lots of opportunities. But until you start acting, until you start doing, none of the stuff is gonna happen. So I'd highly encourage you to start focusing.
Rule number 5, raise your standards.
You are a product of your environment. The people around you are keeping you exactly where you are. And if you love where you are, then keep with those people. But if you want more out of life, if you've got bigger dreams, bigger ambitions, then you're going to have to let some of those takers go. Now, I've been pretty fortunate that I haven't had any real takers in a long time in my life. But here's the thing, it's easy to recognize the people who are really negative in your life and want to eliminate them. But then once you've done that, you'll still find that there's this middle ground. There's these people who bring you energy, who are amazing, who lift you up, who are awesome to be around. And there are people who are negative that you cut out of your life. But then there's that middle ground of people who, they're just okay. They're not bad, they're not great, it's just okay. And if you want to raise the quality of your life, if you want to raise your standards, you can't be hanging around, at least spending most of your time with people who make you feel just okay. So I got back from an event with Tony Robbins not that long ago, I think it was last year, when I went with my friend Mark Drager, and Tony at the end of his events has you do this fire walk. And he lays out these, coals, these hot burning coals across the parking lot, and you have to walk over it. And he has you sing cool moss, and he gets you all excited and amped up to ready to cross the walk. And the idea is you're doing something that you're afraid of. You're doing something that you're scared of, and to show yourself that you're capable of doing difficult things. Mark and I decided to actually skip the fire walk. because we rushed home and I did the real fire walk, which was in my life letting go of a number of people who were just okay. It wasn't that they were bad or toxic or big takers from my life. It was just okay. And I realized if I'm spending all my time on things that are just okay, things, people, projects, ideas that are just okay, that make you feel just okay, right? It's good is the enemy of great. If it's really bad, you're gonna let it go. But if it's good, you just keep it around. And then suddenly the good becomes your standard. Your good becomes acceptable. When did good become acceptable? That's what you need to draw the line in the sand and say the ideas that are just good, I need to eliminate from my life. The people that are just good, I need to either eliminate or spend less time with them, to leave room for the things that are great, extraordinary, excellent, raising your standards, making you believe more in yourself and your capabilities. And so coming back from that event, it was on that day, not even coming back, it was on that day, I went back to my Airbnb with Mark and I let go of multiple people in my life. And not let go and say you suck, just basically moving on. And that allowed me to have a lot more momentum now. Now I had a lot more free time that allowed me to focus on things that would build me up, that would explode my growth forward. And it's been a crazy year. It's been basically a year. November 2018 was when that happened. So now it's been almost a full year. I guess by the time this video comes out, it's been a full year. Wow, that's crazy. It's been a full year since that happened. You have to let go of the takers first, and then you have to start thinking about, are the people around you just good? Are your ideas just good? And slowly start getting rid of those ones. The projects, the tasks, look at your calendar. What's just good in your life, and get rid of it and leave room and focus on the things that are extraordinary, that fill you up, that build you up, that make you feel amazing because you deserve it. And all of your great work, all of your great activities, all of your great momentum, your great impact is going to come on the other side of doing amazing things. You will never create something amazing when you're working on something good, when you feel good, and definitely not when you feel bad.
Rule number 6, trigger yourself for success.
The trick to getting yourself into action mode is to trigger yourself for success. Triggering yourself for success means you've taken the decision making out of it, that as soon as you come up with an idea, you have trained yourself by default into action mode. You see, your brain will always talk you down from things because it's trying to keep you safe, and it only understands a world that currently exists that is logical and practical. Until you learn to trigger yourself for success, you will constantly doubt your thoughts, your ideas, and your actions. This video is gonna help. So today, I wanna talk about this bag right here. A lot of you leave comments, the newer fans of the channel say, why is Doritos sponsoring your videos? Evan, why don't you have a healthier sponsor? Don't you know what bad Doritos does to your body? You should be promoting healthy living. Doritos is not a sponsor, guys. This is triggering me for success every single day. And this isn't just some tiny bag. It looks small looking back here, but let me bring this up. Look at that. This is right next to my face. Look at how big that bag of Doritos is. I have a strategy, and it's a weird strategy, so maybe you'll love it, maybe you won't, but I have a strategy called Damn the Doritos. I look at this bag. So I'm sitting, this is how I'm working, right? I'm not sitting, I'm standing. I'm standing on a trampoline. This is my workspace right now, right? I'm standing here, I'm working. In the corner of my eye, I got Steve Jobs up here, and I got this giant bag of Doritos. All I wanna do is eat this bag all day long. I wanna destroy this bag of Doritos. Look at that giant chip. Oh, I'm gonna start drooling soon. I love it. I wanna eat that all day long. This bag is here as a reminder of how great I am. This is the mental conversation inside my head. Evan, you're awesome. You're awesome for not eating those Doritos every day. And I want it as a reminder. People say, doesn't it take a lot of willpower? No, it builds, for me at least, builds the willpower. Builds my strength. Every time I see that bag of Doritos, makes me feel better about myself that I'm not eating it and I have the strength to keep going. And so why I have that here is when you're on a diet, right? This is how it began. When you're on a diet, your friends, your family, the experts will say, get rid of all the junk food from your house, get rid of it all because otherwise you'll be tempted and then you're gonna eat it and then you're gonna ruin your diet. I think that is actually teaching yourself that you suck. You're teaching yourself, I'm a weird duck, you're teaching yourself that you are not strong enough to be around the thing, and so I need to get it out of my environment. The only way that I can stick to this thing is if this other stuff is nowhere close to me. I think you're telling yourself that you suck. I think it's a big crutch. And just like when you break your leg, you have a crutch. Your ultimate goal is to not have a crutch. It's to walk, it's to run, it's to be stronger than before, right? And so as a step one, maybe it's good, right? As a step one, okay, fine. You broke your leg, you have a crutch. You want to get on a diet, you're addicted to junk food, get out of the house, awesome. But as soon as you go on vacation, as soon as you go to an office party, as soon as you go to New Year's, any kind of party, you're gonna destroy the food because you've trained yourself every day that you suck, that you're not capable. I think you're a genius. I think you're stronger than you think. And so I tested it first with myself and I thought, you know what? Doritos are my nemesis, right? I love Doritos. Oh my gosh, just looking at that bag. So I went to Costco and bought the giant size bag of Doritos and said, I'm gonna put this on my desk all day long. Because damn the Doritos, because the Doritos are stronger than me? I don't think so, right? I'm Evan Carmichael. And same thing for you. That thing that is holding you, that's stronger than you? I don't think so. Remember who you are. Remember how strong you are. And that's what this is here for. And it's been awesome to see people now take this up. A friend of the channel, Leron, was trying to get off of sugar. And he has this coffee cup with a saucer and he drinks his morning coffee. And he put 2 packets of sugar on the saucer right next to the coffee. So he pours his coffee, has the sugar right next to it, and he just starts drinking it and puts it down and looks at the sugar packs and then just drinks the coffee again and puts it down, looks at the sugar packs, and his wife thinks he's crazy. And he's a little crazy too. You gotta be a little bit weird duck, but I think this is actually how you build your strength. Mark Drager, another friend of the channel, is addicted to the Peak Friends cookies. You know, the ones that have the red on the inside and the cream in the middle. Those are among my favorites too. And so his COO, when he heard this, went out and bought all these boxes of Peak Friends and put it on Mark's desk. And he opened it up. And this is one of my favorite things to do. Whenever I'm around Doritos or something I really love to eat, not just say, oh, put that away from me. Don't be around me. I can't have that. And not just look at it. I want to smell it. So Mark took these cookies, brought it right up here. Peak Friend cookies, right up here. Oh, and you can just see the joy on his face just as he's bringing back memories and just what those cookies are gonna taste like when they enter his stomach and just, goodness everywhere, right? The smile on his face, maybe a little bit of drool coming out, you just, and then put the cookies down and walk away. And how great that makes you feel as a human to say, here's one of my biggest weaknesses of all time. Bring it. I own you. Put it down and walk away, right? I think that's how you actually build strength, by doing those difficult things, by triggering yourself for success. Every time I see the Doritos bag, I feel better about myself, I feel stronger about myself, and I want you to do the same thing. If any of you are gonna take on that kind of challenge, I wanna hear you, I wanna follow you, I wanna see how your journey is going, because it can be one of the biggest, most important life-changing decisions that you embark on.
Rule number 7, learn to reframe.
If you change how you feel about something, you change how you act. The problem is, most of the time, we don't catch our feelings. If you're feeling negative, angry, frustrated, depressed, it doesn't matter what the thing is that you're trying to accomplish, you're not gonna give it your all and you're not gonna get results because of your negative emotional state. If you don't start changing how you feel, you're never going to make progress on the goals that you set for yourself. So one of the things I love doing whenever faced in a negative situation is say, it's the best. It's the best. I'm wearing this hat. Says Fanta because friend of the channel, Mark Drager, pointed out to me when I was saying it's the best that I'm a reframer. I'm reframing. I never heard of the concept before. Reframing means you take this negative situation and then you spin it, you reframe it so that it's positive, so that it motivates you, so that it's exciting, so that it pushes you forward instead of it being a negative thing that is all-encompassing and depressing and brings you down. And he said, well, you're always positive because you're just a reframer. And he has this Enneagram, and I'm a number 6 or something. I don't know. He can give you more details. You want to know what number you are and what it means, go follow mark.drager on Instagram and ask him. But I don't think that's something that's just in me. I think everybody can learn how to do it. Everybody can learn how to reframe. You take whatever negative situation that's in front of you and say, this is the best. Right now, this is the best. Where this came from was I was on an airplane from Vancouver to Los Angeles. And that's a 5-hour flight, give or take. And I had to sit next to this really smelly dude, and there was no other option. I had to stay on the plane, I had to make my flight, I had to speak at this event. The only other option was get off the plane. And he was really smelly. I'm sure he didn't want to be smelly. I'm sure that wasn't his, intention or ambition. It just happened. Probably had 3 stopovers, hadn't showered in however long, and just, he stunk. And in my head, I'm trying to find solutions. There's no solutions. And so I'm upset. I'm complaining, there's 15 seconds of back and forth. Say, this sucks. I can't believe it. And then here's what happens in my head. I say, this is the best. This negative thing that's in front of me right now, this is the best. This is my chance to show myself what I'm made of. Right? And so he's sitting right here next to me. I'll look over and just breathe it in. Breathe that in. Breathe in that smell. Breathe it in. To show myself that this is not the limit. That this one dude is not going to ruin my day. And I feel great now about myself because self-confidence comes from doing difficult things. And I just did something difficult. And that's where it's the best came from. It was a quick trigger to myself to say, this is the best. It's the best. And now it's become this thing that anytime I'm facing a really negative situation that feels overwhelming, impossible, just want to complain, find somebody to blame and say, it's your fault. No, this is the best. This is my chance to show myself and the world what I am made of. And so you can flip it for yourself. What is so overwhelming, so impossible, so crazy that is bringing you down? You look at your calendar, you look at your list of emails, and it's just depressing. Great. This is the best. If you believe, like I believe, that your purpose comes from your pain, if you believe that the thing that you struggled with the most in life becomes your calling for the rest of your life, the time that you struggled and suffered the most as a human, your purpose for the rest of your life is to help other people who currently are who you used to be, then that thing that happened, that massively negative thing, the most painful moment in your life, actually is the best. Because it's going to allow you to serve hundreds, thousands, maybe millions of people through your purpose.
Rule number 8, explore.
Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. What I took away most from that definition is the word progressive. You want progress. You want to learn. You want to keep growing. What was once a challenge for you is now simple, and it's very easy to fall into a routine that once served you but is now limiting you. The day you stop progressing is the day that you start to hate your life, and it can be sneaky. It could sneak up on you without you even noticing what happened. So I was trying to think of a personal story to share with you about this, and I realized it's been more than 10 years since I've actually felt that. I felt that I've stopped progressing, that I started to hate what I was doing. It's been over 10 years. It was basically since I started on YouTube, and I'm going to share with you the hacks that I used so that you won't fall into that rut. But what happened for me 10 years ago was I built my website, right? I sold my business, I had success, I was speaking around the world. I started building my website, and I built it into a giant platform. We had 100,000 plus pages of content, making money from advertising, and I just stopped liking the business. It started to feel like we're putting out content, we're putting out articles, just trying to make money, putting out articles that I didn't always believe 100% in. We had a bunch of guest people writing content, right? We had 4,000 or 5,000 authors for the website, and not all of their opinions or views or mindset or voice reflected my own. And I just stopped liking the business. It was a successful business, making money, building a team. I had 8 people, I think, at that time. And I decided, you know what, I'm losing the love for this. I need to try new things. And I started making YouTube videos. It was one experiment. I probably did a bunch of different things, but YouTube was one experiment that I sucked at, but I loved, and I kept coming back to. And it taught me a lesson. It taught me that you need to explore. This is what I tell a lot of people when they're entrepreneurs. I had a woman, Melissa, who joined me on an IG Live the other day, and she's talking about how she's got a real estate business that's making her money, but she wants to be a speaker. And the speaking business is growing. It can't support her fully yet, but the real estate business gives her a lot of money. She's like, well, I like doing both. It's like, well, no, you don't. Right? Like, in 5 years, where do you want to be? Do you want to still be doing real estate? No, 5 years, I don't want to be doing that. I want to be doing the speaking thing. Like, great. That's where you need to start spending more of your time. It doesn't mean quit the job. It doesn't mean stop doing real estate or stop doing the thing that you're just okay with. But while you still have one foot in it, you have to explore, you have to try, you have to taste, you got to see what else you can do. Spend 1 day a week, 2 days a week, depending on your financial situation. This is my advice to her. Spend 1 day or 2 days a week focusing on the speaking business so that in 6 months you could be out of the real estate business and be in speaking full time. And then doing the thing that you love, right? If you just like it, that should be a warning sign to get out. Not ASAP, but you need to start exploring. But so many people end up hating the thing that they're doing. So many entrepreneurs start a business, they love it, it's challenging, it's exciting, it's exhilarating, and then they found that they bought themselves a job and they actually hate their business. And then it becomes too late to get out because you can't find the person to sell it to, or you just have to walk away from it. But so many people just like it, and you're not exploring enough to chase down the opportunities.
Rule number 9, find your own balance.
Most people suck at creating work-life balance or harmony because you're constantly comparing what you're doing to other people's schedules. Of all the things that you need to figure out in life, what balance means to you is among the most important. Jeff Bezos jokes about optimizing his toothbrushing routine because he's trying to maximize his efficiency, while Warren Buffett reads for 5 to 6 hours every day. You can't do both, and you need to stop comparing yourself to someone who you're not. It's crazy how much balance and scheduling comes up. I think most people are lost. I think again, the biggest problem is you're just comparing yourself to other people, and then you don't know where to stand. You don't know what rock to stand on, and so you feel like you're pulled in 1,000 different directions. When I went on my tour this year, and I'm sure it's gonna come up on the next one again, people kept asking that, what does balance mean to you? How do I find balance in my life? And I used to joke, one of the funniest jokes that I told, and I'm not that funny, so this is one of the funny moments, was when I was talking about The Rock. And The Rock has his routine where he's working out for 4 hours a day. He has to work out for 4 hours a day. And so when he's doing his movies, he wakes up 5 hours before he has to be on set, and he'll work out for his 4 hours, and he'll do 2 times cardio and 2 times weights, and then go to his trailer, shower, and then head out to the movies. And he's only sleeping 4 to 5 hours a night when he's on set. I think that's crazy, but I don't look like The Rock. And that's when people would laugh, because I don't look like The Rock. But it's true. People will try to take on The Rock's schedule, but you have other priorities. What The Rock values isn't the same thing as you value. There may be some overlap and some similarities, and there's nothing wrong with trying on the hat. There's nothing wrong with attempting to do it. There's nothing wrong with seeing how it fits, right? To get pieces, to say, hey, I'm gonna try meditating, I'm gonna try working out, I'm gonna try making a video, I'm gonna try morning pages, awesome, great, yes. But then to judge yourself to say, well, I'm not able to stay consistent on that, it's not what you should be doing. Because you want to work out 4 hours a day, and you want to read 5 hours a day like Warren Buffett, and you want to optimize your toothbrush routine like Jeff Bezos, and you want to do all these different things, but it's too many hours in a day. What you have to figure out is, how does balance look like for you? And then not be ashamed to go off and live it when everybody else thinks you're nuts. So how do you do it? I'm gonna give you a 3-step process that I think will help. Step number 1 is start to figure out, what does balanced harmony look like for you, whatever you wanna call it. Sit down, take some time, book off half the day. This is worth it. This is worth it. If it's a Saturday afternoon or Sunday morning, whenever you are the most free and creative, find a space that you love, whether it's walking out in nature or your desk at home, or a coffee shop, library, something where you can just be by yourself, not have distractions, and really just ask yourself, what does a balanced life look like for you? What does harmony look like for you? Because you don't want to spend all day at work. You don't. And you don't want to spend all day with your family either. You don't. You don't want to spend all day doing anything. But what's that ratio look like? You don't want to spend all day sleeping. What's that ratio between how much time sleeping, how much time with your family, how much time on your hobbies, how much time with your friends, how much time at work? What does that ratio look like for you? And you may get a weird duck answer. Like, it may not fit into the society's norms. That's okay, right? It starts with you understanding, this is what I need for my life. Having clarity and having certainty around it, so that when other people judge you for your crazy schedule, say, this is what I need. This is what I need. Remember, the people who are judging you are all insecure about their own life and their own schedule too. So don't worry about it. Go live your life. Spend the half day. Maybe do it right now. If you have some ideas already, what does balance or harmony look like for you? Number 2 is map your actions to your ambitions. Okay, great. Now that you've set out what a perfectly balanced life looks like for you, you got to do it. You show me in your calendar where you're actually doing it. I live my life by different days. So Monday's my mentoring day, Tuesday's my YouTube day, Wednesday's my project day, Thursday's my public facing day, Friday's my CEO day, Saturday is fun day with the family, and Sunday is family admin day, Costco and shopping and groceries and laundry and all that stuff, right? And that's how most of the time I live my life. When I'm on tour, when I'm doing trips or something, speaking, then it gets a little bit more chaotic, but then it returns back to normal, because that's what balanced harmony looks like for me. That may be crazy for you. That may be crazy for you. If you look at my Thursdays, it's back to back to back meetings. I might have 10 or 15 meetings back to back to back to back to back with like 2, 3, 4 minute breaks in between. That's it, all day long, from 9 in the morning until sometimes 11 at night. I love it. It's great. And then on Wednesday, look at my calendar, it's open, nothing. White space to work on whatever I want to work on. Because if I'm doing my book, or I'm working on my course, or I'm doing some creative work, I like having the entire day wide open for me to do it. So I don't book meetings on a Wednesday. I don't talk to my team on a Wednesday. I don't make videos on a Wednesday. I do my project work on a Wednesday, right? That's what I love doing. And so that works for me. That may be the worst thing of all time for you. Awesome. But my actions map to my ambitions. If I set out, what does balance look like for me? This is it, I'm living it. Just like Saturday is fun day. Don't message me on a Saturday. You're not gonna get a response. I'm spending the day with my wife. I'm planning surprises for her. I'm taking her to a new restaurant. We're planning some kind of activities to do together. That's what we do on Saturdays, right? That's my version of balance. But at the same time during the week, my wife and I, we work together, so I see her a lot, but we don't start hanging out at night until 8 o'clock, right? That may seem crazy for you, but then we have all of Saturday completely shut down to work on things together, fun things, and then Sunday, the whole day to do what is actually family work, right? That works for us. It works for me, it works for her, it works for us. It may be the worst thing of all time for you. Maybe you do want to spend 3 hours a day cuddling with your husband or wife. Awesome, put it in. I'm not judging you, put it in, go, do it. If that's what leads you to be happy, balance, and you bring the best of you everywhere you go, then you do it. You created your version of balance. Now you need to map your actions to your ambitions and put it in your calendar and stick to it. And then step number 3 is follow the Quincy Jones rule. Quincy Jones, a legendary music producer, once said, "Not 1 ounce of my self-worth comes from your opinion of me." And I really love that, because I think so often we play small based off of other people's opinions and expectations of you. All these other people with low standards who hate their lives are judging you, and you live your life by their low standards. Somebody who hates their life, right? They're just on the edge of depression, or maybe they're already there and they're judging you, and these are the people whose opinions you care so much about. Not 1 ounce of my self-worth comes from your opinion of me. That doesn't have to be something you say out loud to them. That might cause some problems. But in your own head, right? Their opinion doesn't mean anything to you. If somebody looks at your calendar and you're cuddling your husband and wife for 3 hours a day, and that's what you need, awesome, embrace it. This is who I am. I'm crushing it. What are you doing? Are you happy with your life? Right? Follow the Quincy Jones rule.
Rule number 10, push yourself to extreme.
People don't push themselves to the extreme. They just don't. It's because it's too hard. It's too crazy hard that you're not likely to do it on your own. And so I think when those opportunities come, learning to embrace them, learning to take them on, learning to say, this is my chance to show myself and the world what I am made of. This is my chance. But is it still your limit? So let me give you a couple examples. This morning, I woke up and I didn't have a lot of sleep. I went to bed at 3 something last night. I woke up at 7:20 this morning. I turned off the alarm, but still woke up at 7:20. Force a habit. And I'm not on a lot of sleep, and I need to make a bunch of videos for you guys. And I want to bring my best, and I put pressure on myself that every video needs to be my best. I want it to be better. I want to grow. I don't want to just do the same thing over and over and over again. But it's a challenge. And so it's easy to say, oh, I'm so tired. Oh, I don't have energy. Oh, I wish I slept more. Or an excuse after excuse. But no, I'm going to go do it. And here I am. And I've made, I don't know how many videos already today. I'm closing in on finishing up, and I still have energy, and I'm pumped for how it went. And the story I'm telling myself is I'm awesome. Like, I had very little sleep. It's not how I want to be living every day. But when that happens, what do you do? How do you stand up? How do you show yourself what you're made of? But even that is not the biggest extreme. You know, like, I feel like I'm capable of way more. My tour was the most that I'd ever pushed myself. Not just mentally, not just facing fears, but physically pushing myself. Where I broke my neck in 2 spots. I had a concussion. I've never had a concussion before. It was wild. Don't wish it on anybody if you haven't experienced it yet. Had 3 staples in my head. I compressed my spine. It was brutal. And I had to cancel my event in Denver where I was, because it was that night. And then the next one was going to be in Kansas City. This is what I wore for 60 days. I wore these, and I took them off for 10 minutes a day. 60 days, right? Like, this is what I'm made of. This is what I'm capable of. I'm complaining about having 4 hours sleep. I had my neck broken. and continued on my tour across the US for 30 more days and another 30 days here in Toronto, seeing entrepreneurs sitting in pain at the front of the room with ice packs and pillows and not quitting and going home, even though I was in massive pain. Like, this is who I am. And I'm complaining about not having sleep the night before, right? Like, perspective. The greatest point on the tour for me was in Kansas City. It was my next stop. We refunded everybody the money because I wasn't gonna be able to go for 3 hours, but I said, hey, we already booked this hotel venue. You guys already booked your night off. Why don't you just come out anyway? Just come on out and I'll go for an hour and take pictures and say hi and just show some Kansas City love. And I showed up and we went for an hour and a half. And then my wife pulled me off because my lips were starting to get dry because I wasn't being able to, answer questions as clearly as I'd like because I was still suffering from the concussion. The neck pain is one thing. That's just sitting still. I can't do anything about it. But the concussion, you're not supposed to think. You're not supposed to have conversations. It makes the recovery worse. And so she was watching me like a hawk the whole night. She's watching me. And then she sees me start to fade. He's like, okay, that's it. I got to take Evan home. Quick pictures and we got to go. I've never been pulled off a stage before. Never for sucking or definitely for a physical issue. Never. It's never happened. This was me at my physical limit. That was it. I was done. I had actually nothing left. Like, somebody had to come and say, you are done. The best, right? I mean, it sucked, but at the same time, it's like, man, this is it. I got to the edge. I got to the physical limitation. I can't go anymore. I'm being told I need to step down. And there's something so amazing that you feel about yourself that you were able to go that far. Now, you don't want to do that every day. You want to take care of your health. Of course. Don't do stupid things. And at the same time, the pride, the feeling of awesomeness that you hit that mark, I can't explain. So I started telling the people around me, my wife, my agent, the people on the tour, that we're planning a 2020 tour, and it's not gonna be as good. This will be great. We're gonna hit 23 cities, 90 days, East Coast, Texas, Mexico, Montreal. It's gonna be fun, but it won't be as good because I'm not gonna break my neck, right? I'm not gonna forcefully go break my neck just because, right? That's stupid. Don't do that. don't go do that just because. And so I'm not gonna face the same challenge. And so the point is, I'll still have a great time. It'll still be amazing. But what we went through, what I had to go through in 2019, this year, is foundational. Like, I'm gonna remember this forever. This is who I am. This is who I am. Not the guy who thinks that 4 hours sleep and making some videos is a big deal, right? It just resets who you are and reminds you if you step up to the challenge of what you're capable of.
Rule number 11, start for free.
The free leads you to the paid. If you have no momentum, no traction, no clients, then start for free. Prove your worth and build momentum. Give them something they can't wait to have again and pay for this time. The goal isn't to do free forever, but the free gives you the thing that you're missing the most, which is momentum in your business. So I'm pre-launching my book right now, Built to Serve, and people who buy the book in pre-order also get access to my private Facebook group where I help people one-on-one every week. And so the guy that I had on last week is a coach. He's a health coach. He wants to help people make transformations to their health because he made a radical shift in his health as well. And I said, great, well, how are you doing right now? Well, I have a couple clients, but I'm still working at a restaurant. I want to be able to leave that so I can focus on this full time. Awesome. If you're a coach, what I need to see you is coaching. I need to see you coaching people. What I'd love to see now is an Instagram Live regular show. And what do you do on your Instagram Live? You bring on people who need help being coached through a health transformation. Because it's one thing to say, I'm a coach and I help people get these results. It's another, though, to actually see people change. To have you go live with them one-on-one and help them bust through their limiting beliefs and their mindset and the issues that they're dealing with. And then to come out on the other side, by the end of the call, feeling hope, feeling invigorated, feeling inspired. Because people will watch that and say, man, I want a result like that. They see themselves in the client that you're helping, and they then want it for themselves. Now, you get two versions. One will be free people. One will be like, can you do me? I'll take it for free, which is great. Don't say no. Don't get discouraged. Don't get upset. You want the free because the free gives you the content. And so if they're willing to come on and do live on Instagram with you for free, then you do it. And there'll be other people who say, hey, I love what you're doing. I need a radical transformation in my health as well, but I don't want to be on Instagram. I don't want to make it public. Can I hire you privately? Bingo, right? That's what we're looking for. That's when you start getting paid. The free leads to the paid. Whatever it is that you want to get known for, whatever it is you want to start making money with, show it to me publicly for free. And if other people want it publicly for free as well, then it's a yes, especially at the beginning when you have no momentum and no clients and you're working some job that you hate. Yes, for free, yes. One, you get better at it because the more you do, the better you'll get. And two, you're building momentum and people start talking about you. And then you get to the people who will see it and say, I want that person. I want to hire that person. And any repeat people, they want more. They want coaching session number 2, it's paid. Here's how much it costs. The free leads you to the paid. So how can you do it? I'm going to give you a 3-step process that you can follow. Step number 1 is think, who can you help? Who specifically can you help? Like, who are the people that you want to help? So for me, it'd be entrepreneurs. If you are a makeup artist and you're just doing it for yourself, or you have some job that you hate and you have no aspiration of being an entrepreneur, I might be able to help you a little bit, but it's not my core audience. I want to help entrepreneurs. Who are the people specifically that you want to be helping? So in the case of the guy who was in my insiders group, he started off just saying that he was a transformational coach. Okay, great, but that could be anything. Everybody needs a transformation. Everybody, the whole world needs a transformational coach. Who? Because if you can't tell me exactly who it is that you help, then I can't think of who I can refer you to. You're making it too difficult on people. If you serve everybody, then you serve nobody. So who are you helping? He's like, well, I love helping people who need a big transformational change in their health because that was me. Awesome. Now it's more specific. Step number 2 is, what specifically will you do? How do you help? Are you gonna coach me through a process? You're gonna meditate with me? You're gonna give me, a product that will help me? What specifically will you do? And so with my friend who was in the group, he was saying that he wants to do coaching calls. He coaches people. They don't have to be face-to-face. It can be anywhere in the world as long as he can see them. Great. So that's specifically what you do. You have your methodology, you have your steps. Makes you seem like an expert and you kind of know what you're doing, right? You create your own methodology. Say, here is how I can help people get a result from the problem that they're coming in with. And in step number 3 is think, how can you make it public? You need them to get a result. You need this specific person with this problem to come in. You're gonna help them. You're gonna help them get a result. And I wanna see them get a result. And then how can you make it public so that other people can see it too? So that it's not just you talking about how you had this great result, but it's them in a public forum. So if I see them getting a result, I'm gonna think, I'm just like that person too. I wanna contact you and hire you and bring you on board my team because I want, for me, what you just did to that person. So who can you help? What specifically can you do? And then how can you make it public?
Rule number 12, don't quit on what you love.
If you quit on something too soon that you still love, you will regret it for the rest of your life. If you don't love it anymore, quit. Move on. You will never win doing work that you hate. But if you love it, and you move on to something else, you will look back on this day and regret it for the rest of your life that you did not see it through. Most people spend their entire life living with regrets. Don't let that be you. The hardest decision I ever had to make in my life was being an entrepreneur. I struggled a lot with the decision, do I want to be an entrepreneur, and had this opportunity to make $300 a month and earn 30% of a company versus going to work at a job that I thought I wanted, a job that I'd been preparing myself for, that this is what I wanted to do. It was in my high school yearbook of this is where I was gonna be. And here it was, earning 6 figures, traveling around the world, doing the investment banking that I thought I wanted to do, versus making $300 a month and owning 30% of a company. And the thing that allowed me to push through and be an entrepreneur was me saying, I don't want to live with regret. That I would rather no one fail than not know. And I gave myself a year. I said, I'm going to give myself a year to do this. I could always go back and get another job. It may not be the same job, it probably wouldn't be the same job. It may not be as much pay, it may not be traveling as much as this job was offering me to travel. But this entrepreneurial thing, this opportunity that I had, I never knew if it would come back again. Like I thought maybe this will never happen to me again. And so I decided to go for it. And we struggled and it was hard, but I never ended up having to go back and get another job. And so if you're at an inflection point, if you're thinking about which path should I take, A or B, lean in with your heart. Stop using your head. Your head only understands the world that currently exists. Lean in with your heart and ask yourself, which decision will I regret more if I don't do? And then go take that action. I became an entrepreneur because I didn't want to regret not having at least tried. And a great moment in my life came a number of years later where one of the people I went to university with came back and said, Evan, I went down that path. I became the investment banker and I hate my life. How do I become an entrepreneur? And I looked in his eyes and I saw the desperation and the sadness and helped him, but also was so grateful that that wasn't me, because it could have been. So how do you live a life not filled with regrets? I'm gonna give you a 3-step process that I think will help. Step number 1, ask yourself, do you still love it? If you are making something, if you're in the process of creating your business and it's not getting results, ask yourself, do you still love it? It's easy to keep going when you're making money and everything's working, right? When you're at the high, it's easy to keep going. But when it's not working out, for me, when I was making videos and it wasn't working out, it's hard to build a YouTube channel. In the early days, I kept going because I loved it. Ask yourself, this thing that you're doing every single day, this thing that you're worried about leaving and quitting and giving up on, do you still love the process of it? Not just getting some result, not just making $1 million, not just getting 1 million subscribers, whatever your outcome is, the process, the work. Do you actually love the work? If you do, then you have to keep going. Step number 2, ask yourself, how can you keep going? How can you keep going? How do you keep the momentum going? The biggest thing missing for most people is momentum. You're just not doing enough on a daily basis. You stop and start and stop and start and stop and start, and people give up and they quit too soon before you allow that momentum to grow and to carry you. So how can you keep that momentum going? How can you do something every single day to move your mission a little bit forward? Not taking giant steps, but just a little bit tiny step forward every single day. Even if that means you have to go back and get a job. Even if that means that, listen, maybe you're out of money right now. Maybe you took a bet on entrepreneurship and you tried it for 6 to 9 months and now your bank account is dry because you spent it all. Great. Maybe you have to go back and get another job. 1, make sure that that job is something that you're going to learn from, not just make an income from. But then 2, make sure that when you're coming home, you're still spending 30, 45, 60, 90, 120 minutes every day. Don't let the momentum stop on your idea. And step number 3 is ask yourself, what will you do to sustain that momentum? What keeps you motivated? What keeps you going? Whether you're having pictures on your wall like I have here, whether it's watching videos like this on my channel every day, listen to a podcast, morning routines, you need to inject that into yourself every day. When you don't see the light, when you're not seeing the results, when it feels like there is no momentum, you need to demand that boldness in you every day. So ask yourself, what is the thing that makes you feel alive, bold, confident, that makes you want to go out and create and build momentum even when you don't see any light around you? What is that thing that you need? And then bring that into your morning routine. Demand that from yourself on a daily basis. Instead of hoping that you wake up all motivated today to go out and do work, successful people demand excellence from themselves on a daily basis because they put something in their morning routine that reminds them of what their mission is and how important it is to move forward.
Rule number 13, put in effort.
Self-love comes from doing difficult things. Self-love comes from doing things that you think are beyond your comfort zone, that you're not capable of doing, and just getting up and trying to do it. That's when you love yourself. When something is easy and you win, you actually don't feel that great about yourself. If you were to go and run a race against 3-year-olds and you won, great, yeah, you won. You might even post about it on Instagram, but you don't love yourself. You don't feel good about yourself because you played small, because it was easy, because you were expected to win, because it was inside your comfort zone. When you play inside your comfort zone always, you don't love yourself. It comes from doing difficult things. That's how you build respect. That's how you build credibility. It's how you build self-love for you. Forget about how other people respect or look at you. It's how you feel about yourself. That's the game. And that comes from doing difficult things. So if you ran a race against 3-year-olds and you won, great. Who cares? You don't feel great about yourself because you were expected to win. But if you ran a race against Usain Bolt and he ran backwards on one leg, he would still probably destroy you. But you should feel great about yourself because you did the thing when it was hard to do the thing. You might have lost to Usain Bolt, but you got in the race against him. That's how you build self-love. When you tie your self-respect, when you tie your self-worth, when you tie your self-love to the effort that you put in on a daily basis, that's when you start to win. When you tie your self-love to winning, to getting results, you lose. When you tie your self-love to how many likes you have on Instagram or views or subscribers on YouTube, you lose. It's about the effort. Are you putting in the effort every day? Because if you are proud of your effort on a daily basis, I promise you, you are going to crush it. But if you are only proud of yourself when you win, here's what's going to happen. You're only going to take on small things. You're going to play small your entire life because you're only going to take on projects that you have a pretty high chance of winning at, because that's how you have love for yourself. And that's a losing game because you're capable of more. You're capable of doing a lot more stuff. You're capable of playing a bigger game. You're capable of having a bigger impact. You have to. It's your duty. It's your duty to love yourself. When you love yourself, you'll be able to spread that more and help other people. And so how do you love yourself? It comes from doing difficult things. It comes from when your heart's beating like crazy and you're scared and it's some big project and you say, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to do that scary thing. I'm gonna try to record a video in public where people may be watching you. Doesn't mean your video has to be great. Chances are it's gonna suck. But you tried and you should feel great about yourself. I'm here on this tour. One of my greatest fears right now, of all time actually, is disappointing people. I hate disappointing people. It's my greatest fear of all time. I don't want to disappoint people. The idea that I would get in front of a group and disappoint them is life-shattering to me. I hate that. I hate wasting people's time. And so I'm on this tour right now. I'm in San Francisco. I'm doing 23 cities over 90 days, and I'm scared. Because I'm scared I'm going to disappoint people. And it's not just one event. I get to get up every 4 days and potentially disappoint people again. Your heart goes boom, 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 boom. You have to do it. And now just the fact that I'm out doing it, regardless of if we have amazing results or not, just me doing it, just me trying it, makes me feel great about myself. And so you need to find the same thing for you. What is a challenge that is worthy of you? That if you got up and every day tried your best, you would eventually win at it. That you're not going to tie your self-respect to you crushing it immediately. If you get a victory right away, you should have started it 3 years ago. If you get up and you make a YouTube video and it's your first one and it's amazing, you actually suck. Like, you should have started that video 3 years ago. You're supposed to suck at the beginning. You always suck at the beginning. Any new skill that you want to learn, you're not going to be very good at it at the start. That's how it's supposed to work. But if you tie your self-respect, your self-worth, your self-love to you getting up and doing work every single day that makes you proud, that says, I am proud of myself today for the effort that I put in, I guarantee you, you will not just love yourself, you will produce amazing things for yourself, for your family, and for the world.
Rule number 14, the last one before our very special bonus clip, have a mission.
This is why I hate 5 to 10 year goals. You are not going to be the same person 5 years from today as you are right now, let alone 10 years from today. You won't be the same person. Think of the person who you were 5 years ago. Go back 5 years from today, 5 years, subtract 5 years from today's date, go back to that person. Could that person accurately predict what a happy, successful, joyous, impactful life is for who you are right now? Could that person 5 years ago accurately predict what you today are capable of? Heck no! Heck no! Not if you've been growing, not if you've been learning, not if you've been experiencing life. You're capable of so much more today than you ever thought was possible 5 years ago. And so what makes you think that the person who you are right now can accurately predict what you're gonna love doing, what you're gonna be great at, your goals, your plans for the next 5 to 10 years? It's not possible. You're thinking small. Here's the thing, I think you could have a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan and hit it. It's just small compared to what you are actually capable of doing. Because you put the blinders on, you stay down this one course, but the best course for you is actually gonna swing out here. But you are so stubborn and so focused. Focus can be a great thing, but it can also lead you to play small for life. Instead of having 5 or 10 year goals, I want you to replace them with a mission. I think of Ted Turner's father, and Ted Turner is the guy who started CNN. He owned the Atlanta Braves, super successful philanthropist and billionaire entrepreneur. And when his father achieved his goal, His father wanted to be a millionaire, I think it was. And when he achieved his goal, he killed himself. He killed himself. Ted was a young man, was 20, 21, 22, something like that at the time. And he had to take over his father's business, which was in advertising. So he took over his father's business, and as he started becoming an entrepreneur, he made himself a promise. He said, I want to have a goal so big that I'm never going to accomplish it. Because I saw what happened when my father accomplished his goal. He hated his life and he killed himself. I want to have a mission, a vision so big that it will never happen in my lifetime. It's not going to happen. And then he wakes up every day and he tries to make it happen. I love that. That's what I do in my business. I love that. It's not about hitting that goal in 5 years. It's not about getting 10 million subscribers on my main account or 1 million subscribers on this account or any of these things. It's nice. They're great accolades. It's great to know that you're making progress, that the work you're doing is having an impact. But it's not about chasing down those results. It's not about chasing down those recognitions and awards and accolades. That's not what it's about. It's about doing the work. It's about getting up every day and trying to solve a big problem. I want to solve the world's biggest problem, untapped human potential. I think most people either one, don't know what they should be doing in life. Most people have no idea what they should be doing. Most people have no idea what they have Michael Jordan level talent at. I think everybody has Michael Jordan level talent at something, has Eric Thomas level talent at something. You should be the Eric Thomas of something. We don't need you to be Eric Thomas. We have one already. He's great. He's amazing. I love him. We need you to take that talent that you have and apply it somewhere else. But most people never find it. Most people never find it, and then they settle. They settle for a crappy life. They settle for a life knowing that they could have done more. 95% of America wakes up and drives to a job that they hate. That's most people. That's where most people live. Some people have found it, but they don't believe in themselves enough to chase it down. You know you have skills at something. You know you're talented at something. You know in the core of you that you want to go off and do this thing. You want to go and be a musician, but your parents want you to be an engineer. And too many people go off and become the engineer and then hate their life. And they blame their parents. It's not your parents' fault. It's your fault. If you know what it is that you want to do and you don't believe in yourself enough to chase it down, that's your fault. That's on you. You have to do it. You have to do it. Because otherwise you're 95 years old, you're in your rocking chair at your old age home, and it's too late and you regret it. You've lived your entire life in regret, knowing that you are capable of more, but you didn't chase it down. That's the mission that I'm on. I want to take as many of those people and flip them. Take as many of those people and move them into the path that is right for them. I want them to find the thing that they love doing and then believe in their Michael Jordan level talent, Eric Thomas level talent to make it happen. That's my mission, but I'm not going to hit everybody. I'm not. It's just not going to happen. That's awesome. That's liberating. That's free. Now I get to go chase it down every day. So when people ask me, where am I going to be in 5 years, 10 years? I don't know. Here's the thing, I could be chasing down YouTube for the rest of my life, but at some point YouTube is going to become MySpace. You know, at some point YouTube is going to be irrelevant. In my lifetime, YouTube will become irrelevant. If I make my goals only YouTube specific, I'm losing. I could hit my goals. I could hit it, but it's nothing compared to what I should be doing. So where am I going to be in 5 to 10 years? I have no idea, but it's going to be doing something awesome. It's going to be something that is going to be moving my mission forward, moving my vision forward. And that's what I wake up every day to try to do. And that's what I want for you as well. And I'm going to give you a 3-step process to help you. Step number 1 is figure out your mission. What is your mission? What do you want? What problem in the world do you want to solve? Humans are built to serve, right? You want to help. Your happiness will come from helping people in some way. And if you're watching this video, chances are you're an entrepreneur or you want to be an entrepreneur and you want to help more than the 10 people around you. You want to have an impact. So what's your mission? If you could snap your fingers and think this problem, this giant problem is solved, what problem would you pick? There's a million amazing, worthwhile problems to go off and solve, but not a million for you. There's one for you. What is that? What's your mission? Number 2, how will you advance your mission today and gain momentum? This is where a lot of people fall down. They have a big mission. You know what you want to accomplish. You know the world you want to create, but it's so far into the future. It's never going to happen. It feels futile to even chase it down. Don't think that way, because helping one person is still helping one person. Every one person that I help unlock, that's another person who then can go spread the message. Every one person who discovers their Michael Jordan level talent and believes in themselves more to chase it down is another person whose mind's been unlocked and they're able to go off and do it and help others. You have to help people one at a time, right? It doesn't mean you can't have this bigger impact too, but don't let your big mission, your big vision, your big idea prevent you from taking action, from getting started, because momentum is a thing that's missing in most people's lives. Momentum is the reason why most entrepreneurs don't succeed. So start building momentum. This week, what's one small step that you can take this week to help your mission advance just a little tiny bit forward? And number 3, where will you schedule for success so that you stay consistent? Show me your calendar, I'll show you your life. Right? You have these goals, you want to accomplish this mission, awesome. Where is it in your calendar that you're going to be spending time on this thing? If it's not in your calendar, it's not going to happen. If you wait until you have free time, it's not going to happen. You're just never going to do it. Because some other life priority is always going to come up in the way. You have to fight for this time. You have to put gates and blockades and barriers around this time so that you make it happen. You have to. Otherwise, it will never happen. You have to schedule for success. Your success comes down to your habits. And your habits are what you put into your calendar to say, these things must get done. Now, you're not going to spend 24 hours a day working on your mission. I get it. Awesome. Maybe you already have a full-time job and you can't take away from that. Awesome. But show me in your calendar. Mark it down. This block. Right? Maybe it's only one time a week. Great. This block of time is uninterrupted, is my priority, is my focus. I'm not going to get distracted. I'm going to make sure that this block of time happens every week, every day. Whatever it is for you. Put it into your calendar, schedule for success. When is that block of time going to happen for you?
Now I've got a special bonus clip that I think you're going to enjoy. But before that, it's time for the question of the day. I want to know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week? When you just get inspired, you watch a video, you get motivated, amazing. The science says you have a 35% chance of actually doing something, actually following through. That, Believe Nation, is not enough. That is not you, not now, not anymore, not today. But when you get inspired and then you create a specific plan of action for what you're going to do, that number jumps to 91% chance of you following through. And when you commit publicly to others, like leaving a comment in this video, it jumps to 95%. So the question of the day is your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week. Put it down in the comments below, and maybe next week I'll profile you.
There will be moments in your business where you will need to have superhuman strength to keep going, where it just demands everything from you, every single ounce that you have. But if you need to have superhuman energy every single day, you're gonna burn out and fail. So whenever I wanna try something new, when I'm testing something new, I always eat into some of my reserves. It may mean to go off and do this new project, I'm gonna sleep less, or spend a little bit less time working on my book, or a little less time working on my YouTube channel, right? You eat into these reserves. But that's not sustainable. If that's what you're doing constantly, you're gonna be unhappy, you're gonna burn out, you're gonna fail. So quick example, Sadhguru came to Toronto. Sadhguru, if you don't know, he's a yogi, he's an Indian mystic. We did a top 10 on him. He then invited me to come to his event in Toronto and then do a one-on-one interview with him close to the Toronto airport, the island. It was amazing, great time. Out of that, he says, Evan, I want you to come to my multi-day event in the US. I want you to come, be a VIP guest there. It'd be amazing to have you. Awesome. But before you do that, you have to do my 7-day program where you have to meditate every day for 7 days. And I think it's an hour plus every day. I didn't have an hour a day. Right? I mean, that's not part of what I had in my calendar. Every hour in my calendar is accounted for. It doesn't mean I'm working all that time, but I might be spending time with my wife. I might be spending time with my son. Every hour is accounted for. And so to do this, I had to eat into some of my reserves. And so for that one, I asked Nina, I said, Nina, if you're gonna come with me, you have to do this too. Do we want to spend our hour in the evening, instead of watching a show, instead of relaxing, to do this program for 7 days for meditation? And she said yes. And so here's the thing, we did it for 7 days and we went to the event, it was awesome. If it was something that we were going to continue, if we were gonna meditate every day for an hour ongoing, then I'd have to readjust my schedule. Your success comes from your habits. You need to figure out what a balanced life looks like for you. Now, ultimately, I don't meditate an hour every night. I do some healing meditation for my neck every morning, but that habit didn't stick, and that's okay. So when you're testing new habits, testing new ideas, testing something for your business, or some emergency comes up that you have to deal with, it's gonna tap into your reserves. You can't be running your business at full capacity already. You can't be running your business on zero, on empty, because that means there's no extra gear. That means that when life punches you in the face, you can't handle it. That means if you want to try or taste or test something else, you can't do it because you have no reserves, you have no battery, there's no more gas in the tank. And so that's where a lot of entrepreneurs live. That's where it's really troublesome. That's where a lot of entrepreneurs will end up burning out, failing, and crushing their dreams because you're just running with no gas left in the tank. And so you can stretch yourself. I think that's normal. I think that's okay. I think life will hit you in the face. And just when you think it couldn't get worse, here comes another punch. That will happen. But it's making sure that you can live that balanced life, whatever balance looks like for you. So how do you handle these things when they come up? I'm going to give you a 3-step process that I think will help. Step number 1 is tell yourself it's the best. When life punches you in the face, when you get some crisis that happens, I try to run a no crisis business, but that is not always possible. Stuff will still happen, and if it's not in your business life, it'll happen in your personal life. When life punches you in the face and you can't get out of it and you have to address it, you have to deal with it, instead of living in the land of negativity and complaining and why me and despair and desperation, I flip it. I complain for 8.5 seconds and then say, this is the best. It's the best. This is the best thing ever. Because what it does is it puts you in a state of resourcefulness. It puts you in a place where you can then go and solve the problem. So I'm going to meditate for an hour a night. This is the best, right? I'm sitting next to the smelly dude on the airplane. It's the best. Because what's the alternative? You're stuck next to the smelly guy on the airplane. What's the alternative? The alternative is you sit on the plane and you're upset and you freak out and you complain and you're negative and grumpy and unhappy. And that's not going to allow you to create beautiful, amazing things for your business or your life. So when you're forced into that situation, when life hits you by surprise, tell yourself this is the best. This is your chance to prove to yourself and the world what you're actually made of. Step number 2 is if this is an ongoing problem, then you need to fix your life. Right? If it's every single day that this is happening, then you can't tell yourself it's the best every day, because it's the best allows you to tap into those reserves. It allows you to find that extra little bit of juice in the gas tank to keep going and solve this big problem. But if it's every day that you're stressed out to the max, that you're not sleeping, that you have no energy, that you're hating the work that you're doing, you need to fix your life. You can't get up every day and just tell yourself it's the best, because you're going to run out of energy. There's no reserves left. You will fail. You will disappoint yourself. You will just run out. And so you are what you consistently do. You look at your calendar and there's something in there that is broken. You need to fix your life if every day you are stressed out. And then step number 3 is schedule for success. So your habits will dictate your success. Your actions need to map to your ambitions. What balance looks like for you needs to be reflected in your habits. You can say, here's what balance looks like for me, but if you're not living it, you're not going to be happy, and you're going to run out of energy, and you're going to burn out, and you're going to start to hate your life. So what does a balanced life look like for you? How much time do you want to spend with your family, with your significant other, on your business, on yourself, personal development, working out, singing, hobbies, dancing, friends, whatever it is that you want to do? What does a balanced life for you look like? And this is something that only you can judge. What I do, what The Rock does, what Sadhguru does, what Dan Locke does, what anybody that we profile, whatever they do, what Elon Musk does. Don't compare yourself to Elon Musk and his schedule. You can use his schedule as guidance, as an idea, as here's something that somebody is doing that is possible, but maybe that's not for you. You try on the hat and then you see. So you have to decide, what does balance look like for you? And then take out your calendar every day of the week from Sunday to the next Sunday and put everything in. Here's how much time I want to spend on these different activities. Because if you want balance and it looks like this, and then you look at your calendar and it's totally different, you're going to run out of energy and not like your life. Schedule for success.
If you want to control of your life and get everything out of your life, check out the video next to me. I think you're going to enjoy it. Continue to believe. I will see you there.
Saying I never have the time is the single greatest excuse that is preventing you from accomplishing your goals.